Selamlar.
Merhaba hocam.
Herhalde bu dönem sizin vizeler ne zaman başlıyor bu arada?
Hocam haftaya Perşembe 2 tane vizemiz var.
Oo.
Ama bilmiyoruz yani daha net bir şey söylenmedi vize haftası şu tarihler arasında
Vize
olacak
haftası
diye.
zaten yokmuş. Bana öyle söylediler. Ama diğer
Biraz daha geç bekliyorduk. Böyle 23'ünden falan sonra bekliyorduk ama bu haftaya olacakmış
benim
ikisinin vizesi.
rapor teslimi için en az 1,5-2 hafta daha ders anlatmam lazım.
Hı hı.
Sonrasında raporları bekliyor olacağım. Net bir tarih yok ama hazır olun yani. Yani idealde hani benim ideal önerim diyeyim. En optimali sizin hani ben anlattıktan sonra kendi oyun dizaynınızda o kısmı doldurmak. Öyle diyebilirim. Şu an kendinizi hazır hissediyor musunuz doldurmaya? Atıyorum konuştuğumuz bölümlerle ilgili. Mesela Executive Summary'yi konuştuk. Ben herhangi bir oyun fikriyle ilgili Executive Summary'yi yazarım diyebiliyor musunuz şu anda? Ya da yani öyle düşünün kafanızda. Ona göre hani eksik kalan bir şey varsa yine onu da konuşalım. Belki öyle bir ders bile yapabiliriz hatta gerekirse. Hani ya da dersin bir bölümünü sizin ödevle ilgili sorularınıza ayırabiliriz. Hani böylece şey daha güzel olur. Ne yaptığınızı bilerek bir şeyle uğraşıyor olursunuz. Şu ana kadarki kısımla ilgili yani dinledik güzel ama hani masaya başına geçince ben yazamıyorum. Hani demek ki bir şey oturmamış dediğiniz bir durum var mı? Ya da
Hocam,
yapabileceğime inanmıyorum dediğiniz bir durum da olabilir.
ben de biraz şey oldu, nereden başlayacağımı bilemedim. Oturdum masaya birkaç kere. Genel bir oyunumu hani hiç başlıklara bakmadan kafamdakileri dökeyim dedim. O kısımda bir zorlandım yani çok. Bir kendi kafamdaki planı oturtamadım. Yani başlasam
Evet.
gidecek gibi hissediyorum ama o başlangıcı yapamadım.
Evet. Onunla ilgili de yine bir video atabilirim. İnkremental oyun tasarımı. Yani aşamalı olarak arttırım ne oluyor inkremental? Arttırımlı oyun tasarımı. İşte önce bir paragraf yazıyorsun. Hani benim önerim zaten bir cümle yazmak. O cümleye eriştikten sonra bir paragraf ekliyorsun. Actually, I should talk this in English. It's better for everyone. So, incremental game design is I don't know, beneficial thing, especially when you haven't created a long documents and you don't know where to start. You can after like you can first try to find your pitch sentence, and after that you can write a bit more detailed first paragraph describing your game. After that you can describe more like less prioritized elements of your game, such as factions, clans, revenue strategy, etc. And after that, you will have a document summarizing your game in 1 or 2 pages. And after you have mentioned the importance titles for your documents, then you can elaborate on each paragraph. I mean, after you summarized what's in your game, then you can choose a paragraph, and let's say that this paragraph is about factions in your game. You can then write 1 or 2 pages describing your factions. You can, for instance, let's give an example. I'm trying to come up with a popular game with factions. Okay, in Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth, whatever. It's not a very popular game. Let's try something else. In Rise of Kingdoms, okay, you can choose different races, but of course we are going to choose Ottoman Empire, and for each faction, you will need to have a detailed page describing the differences, different parts in this faction. So maybe for Germans, you may write, I don't know, an attacking faction which has better stats when attacking, but reduced statistics when defending. And the art style is based on Germany in the 18th century. This could be a description, for instance. This is not enough, of course. You will probably need to add more details. But the general concept is, like I said, taking a paragraph from the brief summary of your game and elaborating on that. Of course, you will be really descriptive when you are talking about revenue model, your funding strategy, and also your budgeting. So these parts are the parts where numbers come into play, and you will need to calculate and estimate. And also, of course, time planning is a similar part in your documents. Let me share my screen now, since I would like to show more stuff about time planning. I'm going to put my camera here. Okay, so last lecture we have talked about the dependencies. Okay, I'm going to, but this workflow is a really dependent workflow. It doesn't always have to be like this. Let's say that while we are doing this development, there's an artist that creates the art for the release. Okay, so arts for creating artwork for characters. Let's say it's characters. Okay, this is not a dependence task. An artist can be assigned to do that, and artist can work on his own. Of course, he will probably need to wait out for the planning phase, and because of that, we will need to assign a dependency here. But as you can see, it's a separate workflow. And let's add another similar concept, maybe the sound effects creation. Oh, sorry. Sound effects creation. and also the music composing can be done after the planning phase. So I'm going to assign 2 dependencies there. And also since these music composing thing and sound effect creation, I mean, they don't have to wait one another. So music composing and sound effect creation are not dependent on each other, but they are dependent on the person. So this is an important consideration. If you have one sound artist, then you need to you are depending not on the task but on the guy that does sound art. This is why I believe Gantt charts are lacking in ability. So this is why you will need to focus on the artist or developer from time to time. So you basically have to put them like this, or maybe, sorry, I clicked mistakenly, or you may need to put it after the music composing. And if you do this, then the sound guy will need to work on music composing a bit, then jump into sound effect creation, then go back to music composing. So you will be reducing his workflow, like production quality, and you are basically making him switch contexts too often, switch tasks oftenly, and you need to keep these kinds of stuff at mind when you're planning out. And if you have a sound art heavy game, maybe it's best for you to hire another sound guy to assign, so that you can assign sound tasks to different people, and they can go in parallel without hurting each other. Yeah, this is something that I would like to share. And another thing is the critical path. So critical path is, I keep clicking accidentally. Oops. I need to refresh, I believe. Can you hear me, by the way? Okay. Okay, I guess you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My connection is not that stable, so sometimes I'm losing connection to ClickUp as well. Okay, now it's now okay. We are talking about development, and another thing that I would like to talk is critical path. So what is a critical path? That's let's check this out. So let's talk about an example. Let's talk that I want to create a new stool, okay, a tabure. So for creating a stool, you need at least 3 legs, and you need something to sit on. And these are essentials. These are needs. These are must features on your products. Without them, you cannot create a stool that is practical in use. And you need to get some materials. You can either buy them, or maybe if you have them, you can use the already materials there. And you need tools as well, like a saw or a hammer, and maybe some nails. And your task would include cutting the wood into legs, cutting a circular piece to sit on, and nailing them all together. And you can also sand it, zımparalamak. You can paint the stool, or you can add sealant. So let's see that what is a sealant. And it's basically something to make it more stable, I guess. And and you can also add a fourth leg, okay? But these are not essential. These are not essential. These are not critical tasks. You can use the stool without doing those, or you can sell it without doing those. And of course, if you want to have an option of adding the fourth leg, you need to decide it beforehand, before nailing the nails, so that you can add a fourth nail. And you need to decide before you started development, because before you start building the stool. And since it will be really hard to change it later. So sometimes there are nice to have features that you want to be really flexible to add them later. If this is the case, you should talk to the production team about that case. I mean, you should have clear goals. As a stool producer, I would go to my manager and say that if you are considering adding a fourth leg, just tell me this now, because it will be close to impossible to add a fourth leg. I'm giving this example. It may look stupid, but these are the things that we discuss every day in my software team. So sometimes to have a flexible product, you need to spend some time extra and some more resources just to keep it flexible. So if you go to a shop and buy 3 legs and then start to create the stool, if your manager says I need the 4th leg, then you need to go out again to the store and buy the 4th one, or you need to cut the 4th leg yourself. And these are the things that hinder the development time. Okay, so what is the critical path methods? The critical path is the bare minimum tasks you have to complete to finish a project. So these are those. And critical path methods helps you to identify the tasks most vital to a project's completion when you're running short of time. If possible, you do the tasks in your critical path first, but sometimes you need to mix up some development time. You need to waste some development time for flexibility, for nice to have features. Okay, so you cannot always have a workflow where you are finishing the needed tasks first. You can, I mean, you will be spending some time to create a flexible infrastructure to include nice to have features later. Okay. And we need to also talk about another term. It's called float or Slack. By the way, Slack is an application also. So, but it has a complete different meaning. I mean, there's an application called Slack that looks, it's a messaging app, communication app basically. But this is not what we're talking about. Slack means empty time. And it's an important concept related to the critical path method. Float defines the amount of time a task can be delayed without causing a delay in any subsequent tasks and the overall projects. So if you look at let me, okay. Let me give an example of free float tasks. So free float tasks are the tasks that don't delay other tasks. What can be the free float task here? What do you think? Do you have an idea? So we need a task that doesn't delay other tasks. I think this can be a free float task. So you can hire an artist by the end of November, and it doesn't, as you can see, delay the project. It doesn't affect your project. And you can even delay sound effect creation to somewhere here. Of course, there will be a needed time to integrate the sound effects. So I will add a task actually to reflect that. Release second version with sound and art. And I will have a task integrate music, and I will have a task integrate visual art. You cannot see right now, I know this. Let's put it this way. And I'm going to change the order of those. Music composing should be here, by the way. And before the like we don't plan to have a music integration or visual effect integration for our first version, but it will be needed for the second release. So you can actually name this release pre-alpha version. So this will be used within the team to test out. And this will be, our second version will be alpha version. So we may have milestones like that, and to reach this, I'm going to actually change. Okay. Yeah, I I will add integrate visual art task, and I'm going to have a task for integrating music. This may be a little shorter, maybe, and I'm going to change the order of music and visual arts, and I'm going to make sound effect creation dependent on um, sorry, I'm going to make a music integration dependent on sound effect creation, and also I will need to let me just adjust. I will need to also music composing. So as you can see, uh, I can change the time of sound effects creation, and it won't delay my whole project. But since I have added another task, and since I have added a dependency, now music composing and sound effect creation are not free floats anymore. So they cannot float anywhere without um, affecting other tasks. They started to affect other tasks right now. Of course, they have some float time. They have some slack. You know, if there's a delay in sound effect creation, it's okay. It won't hurt that much. But now, since I have this, by the way, integrating music will be after releasing pre-alpha version. It's not dependent on the other release, but it will be after the release. I mean, maybe I can, if a developer is empty, you know, if a developer is free, I can make him integrate music uh, separately, and rest of my team can work on the alpha version, pre-alpha version. So they are not dependent, but probably it will be something like this. And of course, to integrate visual art, I will have needs artwork for my character. So I will add this here, and uh, like I said, it will be something like that. Probably after releasing pre-alpha version, we will be busy with integrating music and visual art. And to release alpha, we need to have some visual arts and integrate music. And obviously, we also need to have a pre-alpha version. I'm not sure if this sounds complex, but if you have any questions, just go ahead. I mean, I'm just assuming so much without um, thinking too much. So I'm just giving you an example. Your project structure doesn't have to be this way, okay? In fact, my project's plan was a more simpler plan. That's I gave an that I sent an example to you. So, any questions so far? Um, as you can see, for creating subtasks, I'm assigned, but for music composing, I'm not assigned yet. And after we have dragged them, and after we um, determine the dates, you can go back to the list view and see how things are looking so far. As always, you can add more details to each task, and they are all open. And if you, let's say that we are 5 months into the project, and let's say that we have completed login screen, and let's say that our main menu feature is already developed, but it's in review for the testers. And let's say that our art is accepted, and our music composing is rejected, and some developers or artists can feel blocked, and they can put their work here so that everyone knows that they are requiring something to continue working on the task. And so as you can see, completed is before in review. So this means that the task is completed by the developer, but it's not yet done. So to be in review, it needs to be, sorry, to be done, it needs to be completed by the developer and tested by the tester. And after that, it should be accepted. And after that, it should be released. Okay. So in our example workflow, it's like that. And after you do that, you go check your list and see that it's updated with the titles accordingly. So there's a title called in review, and a title called completed, and a title called pending. Let's go back to our calendar. Now this is looking more fulfilled. And if you go back to the Gantt charts, by the way, for a PDF export, it might be hard to, I mean, for a document in your homework, it might be hard to print them all, you know, because this is a long chart, and you will be writing the whole page, sorry, the whole project. You will be planning out the whole project, and because of that, it will be hard to print this out. So you have two options. You can basically uh, uh, shrink items like that and send it to me this way, but I'm not going to accept that. I mean, for PDF, it's okay to do that, but I need to see the details plan for your project, okay? So because of that, you will need to find a way for me to see your detailed plan. You can either enable me to see that. You can add me in your project, for instance, and I might see that. And you can give the link to your Gantt charts in your PDF. That's acceptable, for instance, if you are giving a PDF. If you're not giving a PDF, you can also, I don't know, have a design documents on web, like in hackandplan.com, or like perhaps notion.so. You can try out those. But if you have a PDF, I need a link to your Gantt charts. This is all I wanted to say. Oh yeah, one more thing. Let's go back to the Gantt chart. And not this one, but this one. If you, sorry, let's click Gantt chart. Open up development tab. And now I'm going to choose to see the critical path. Okay, let's enable calculating critical path. Now the tasks in your path are being calculated. Sorry, so now you may see a critical path with this one. So you can if you delay integrating visual arts, then as you see there's a red indicator showing that it's not possible to release. It's obvious because this task is dependent to visual art integration, and to start doing that you need to integrate visual arts first. So you need to delay your release dates, unfortunately. This is why Cyberpunk is delaying release dates all the time. So this is a good way to check if your project plan is feasible. I mean, if it's possible or not. What else? So if a task can be delayed without causing a delay in the overall project, then it's like the amount of time is called total float. As tasks in the critical path are integral to a project's completion, they have zero float. There's no margin for delaying these tasks. Critical path activities have to be at the top of your priority chain. However, high float tasks aren't as important and can be delayed to refocus your project's planning efforts on the important critical path tasks. In our example, these are the sound and visual arts before the first release. So for first release, I mean, they are not critical, but for the second release, they are critical. So you can have a situation like that. Any questions so far? I talked too much. Okay. I'm thinking what else can be said. We have talked about critical paths. Oh yeah, you can also just to say that you can also integrate other tools that you use regularly in your company with clickapp.com. So this is the icon of GitHub. You can also add Slack integration, Bitbucket integration, Zoom integration even. So you can basically record screen recordings. So you can record meetings and add those meetings to your workflow. so that managers can see, or you can go back to the meeting and see what have you decided as a team. And in Google Docs, for instance, or in Trello, multiple people can edit the plan together. There's a similar case like this here. Or you can also integrate version control, so that when you finish a task, when you push it to the remote repository, then your task is automatically taken to completed stage in the ClickUp app, basically. Okay, so this is all I wanted to cover. Any questions so far? Okay. When you finish developing something, like I said, if you push your development to the remote